fusion of human and machine, our golden future?
Every year, around 3,000 people from the business world, politics, culture and research meet at the World Economic Forum in Davos. If you listen to the mottos of these meetings, for example, improving the state of the world, rethink, redesign, innovate, or globalization 4.0, designing a new global architecture in the age of the fourth industrial revolution, one might think that there are real do-gooders at work here, with the intent to better the world. But the reality is different.
Political, social, and economic crises are on the rise. Added to this are threats caused by human ingenuity in a wide variety of scientific fields, which are interlinked in complex ways. Artificial superintelligence is set to take over. Genetic engineers are designing humans. Neurotechnologies are set to control the human mind, and artificial pathogens are striking fear into the world's population. Is scientific research sponsored by the leading world shapers really only interested in the welfare of mankind? Or is it possibly intended to implement its own projects that are dangerous to humanity?
According to an expert report by the University of Bremen, commissioned by the German Ministry of Health, there is currently a shortage of 100,000 nursing staff in German senior citizens' nursing homes alone. Job offers are hardly accepted because working conditions are extremely unfavourable and nursing staff are massively overworked. Attempts are now being made to remedy this nursing shortage with the use of nursing robots. This means nothing other than replacing human carers with technical devices. What those in need of care actually need, however, is love, attention, personal conversation, companionship, opportunities to participate, and so on. But this can only be provided by a human being with feelings and emotions. These areas remain closed to technical devices like nursing robots, even if progress in artificial intelligence seems to make it possible to move closer in this direction, but only seemingly. The human being, as an emotional and communal being, falls by the wayside. But what happens when you combine both components, part human, part machine? So-called cyborgs have long since ceased to belong solely to science fiction. Cyborgs are people in whose bodies technology is integrated in order to enhance human capabilities. The plans of transhumanists, an ideology that wants to expand the limits of human capabilities through the use of technological processes, go so far as to say that the future does not belong to natural humans, but to hybrid beings created through genetic engineering, robotics, and so on. This is how the influential mastermind of transhumanism and head of technical development at Google, Ray Kurzweil, describes it.
We will combine the power of our brains, all the knowledge, skills, and personal quirks that make us human, with our computer power. This merging of man and machine, with the sudden explosion of machine intelligence, will lead to a world where there is no longer a distinction between biological and mechanical life, or between physical and virtual reality.
This opens the door to control and steering of mankind by anonymous programmers. Surprisingly, Jeffrey Epstein, a US investment banker and convicted sex offender, also played a major role in this issue. In 2019, he had been charged with operating a sex trafficking ring with minors for high-ranking personalities. He died while in custody, officially by committing suicide. What the public hardly knows, however, is that through a foundation, he funded programs dealing with behavior modification, meaning human behavior modification, transhumanism, artificial intelligence, or genetic manipulation.
Jeffrey Epstein promoted scientists such as Martin A. Novak, Marvin Minsky, and George Church. As an active member of the EDGE organization, Epstein brought together leading minds in research and billionaires. The EDGE organization strives to advance to the edge of knowledge, the so-called frontier sciences. Epstein was also a board member of Rockefeller University and sat on the Harvard Committee on Mind, Brain, and Behavior. In addition, he was a member of influential think tanks, such as the Trilateral Commission.
Looking at all these connections of Epstein, it becomes clear that Epstein, who is mainly portrayed by the media as a paedophile lone offender, was part of and the hub of a closely interlocked network of high finance and high-risk research areas. This network obviously works closely together on technologies to make the natural human being manipulable and controllable. Fittingly, a quote from Albert Einstein. Shame on all those who thoughtlessly avail themselves of the wonders of science and technology and have grasped no more of them mentally than a cow grasps the botany of plants, which it eats complacently. It is also worrying that a few years ago, scientists discovered a mechanism with which it is possible to specifically modify DNA. These so-called genetic scissors, known as CRISPR-Cas, DNA cutting proteins, can be used to insert or remove gene sequences at will. Proponents of this technique argue that CRISPR-Cas can be used to prevent serious hereditary diseases. Critics, on the other hand, fear misuse. Among other things, Harvard professor George Church, who was backed by Jeffrey Epstein, was granted a patent to use these genetic scissors. He is working on the alteration and modification of genes with the aim of creating a superior human race. Although, according to media information, we would be miles away from the production of customized designer babies, there are already scientists like Hei Jinakui, who, in 2018, stated that he had genetically manipulated twin girls with CRISPR-Cas before they were born. Particularly precarious, such changes to a person's genetic makeup cannot be reversed and can even be passed on with completely unknown consequences. All this background information illustrates that highly courted and highly funded scientific fields are increasingly crossing red lines. Likewise, a science tending towards megalomania is less and less afraid of breaking ethical, moral taboos. Even in the face of all the blatant boundary violations that endanger the existence of humanity, the following words of Hermann Hesse apply. Remember, soft is stronger than hard. Water stronger than rock. Love stronger than violence.